This is the Transformers Generations Studio Series figure number 101 from the movie Rise of the Beasts, Leader Class, Scourge, or whatever you pronounce it. Scourge, I think. And here's a look at the box. Wow! Box art is fantastic. I'd still prefer some plastic, biodegradable plastic on it. Look at that. I hope this is really how he looks like in the movie. Awesome looking box art. I picked up this figure from Robo. Let's get this bad boy out of the box. And here is Studio Series Scourge out of the box. And you know what? I had initially pegged this figure to be one of those craptastic figures from Hasbro and Takara. After reviewing that horrible battle trap, I honestly didn't believe that Hasbro and Takara could still produce an amazing Terrorcon or Decepticon, whatever, for the Studio Series line. But lo and behold, this figure has managed to surprise me in every bit, at least in robot mode. It's on an aesthetic standing point. This figure looks terrific. He's got amazing details. I had a lot of fun posing this figure, getting him into a lot of battle poses, and you know, he's great to pose. He's got amazing sculpting on him. The colors look great. The promo pics didn't do any justice for this figure's robot mode because the robot mode is just terrific. Now, I will have comments for this figure, obviously. I mean, it's not a perfect figure. We'll get to all of that later. We'll get to transformation and all that later, but let's just admire this robot mode for a second and just see how great the design is. Let's take a closer look at the details of this new Studio Series, Rise of the Beasts, Scourge. Head to toe, the figure stands at about 20 centimeters tall, or about 8 inches tall. For comparisons, here he is with fellow Terrorcon's Studio Series Battle Trap, as well as the deluxe class from the main line, Nightbird. And if you want to see a comparison of how leader class figures used to be for Hasbro, here he is with the Power of the Primes, leader class Optimus Prime. Now on to the details of this figure. As you've seen him earlier, I had him with his blaster cannon, which is actually a fixture on this arm. You can replace and remove the claw. The claw is actually pretty cool. It's very alien looking. I mean, he is an alien, but I mean, you know what I mean. Organic alien, really creepy tentacles type of claw. And you'd see the detail on this thing. Doc Ock's tentacles. I don't know, I'm not kidding. You can store this claw right here, as you've seen earlier in the video, and then you can swap it out with the blaster cannon. The blaster cannon, I think in the movie the claw just morphs into the cannon. I think that's just what it is, but that's just too much engineering for the toy, so they decided to just have it swappable or replaceable. You can plug in blast effects, or you can go big with the Omega Supreme blast effect. So that's pretty cool. The blaster can also be stored on the back. Either way, there's only one way to store it, one direction actually to store it. It's facing that way. So you plug it in this way, or you can plug it in the other way like that. Let's have a quick look at that head sculpt. Wow, look at that. He's like Tarn. He's wearing the faction symbol for a face. You know what? I think this is an attempt for a cinematic universe Tarn, and they didn't want to go through it because, you know, there's a lot of fans. There are a lot of fans for Tarn, and they didn't want to make a mistake doing that character, so they decided to just go with Scourge. And I think it looks great. I think that head sculpt looks great. He's got a ball joint right there on the neck, base of the neck, and then at the bottom part of his neck, there's another ball joint, so he can really move that head sculpt like, you know, hello, how are you? Yes. Yes, no. Walk like an Egyptian. Anyway, oh man, I just popped it off. But lots of range of motion for that neck. Kind of feels like a giraffe, this guy. Look at that. It's bordering on, if you watched the Genndy Tartakovsky Star Wars, he kind of looks like how General Grievous was drawn or animated in the cartoons, kind of. I don't know. He's got some fantastic details right here on his torso. Look at that. Just great paint apps, great use of plastic, quality plastic. There are a few semi-cheap parts here and there. Solid legs though, solid arms. But some pieces are like battle trap, but I could say 85% of the figure quality plastic, so very cool. You got some nice paint apps right there. Some metallic finish right here. You can see there's a lot of scratching and weathering right there. It's a nice touch, but honestly, I think they didn't have to do that. I think they could have used some of the paint to just paint more silver on the parts right here and there. He's got some chains going on right there, which we'll see more in alt mode. I love the color. I love this dark gunmetal gray color that he's sporting. I think it's a great design. I think as an action figure, I think the designers at Hasbro and Takara Tomy did a phenomenal job in translating that screen design into, you know, action figure form. Although I'm thinking, you know, he just looks so scraggly. He looks so... He's not as... I'm probably nitpicking, but he's probably... He doesn't have that presence, if you ask me. He's just not like the Fallen. You know, the Studio Series Fallen, I think, is still the gold standard for these villains in the Studio Series, but this guy is not bad. It's a very, very good representation, an attempt to recreate him in toy form or action figure form. I just feel you could have added a little bit more mass. There's a lot of hollow pieces. The imposing feel is not present with this guy. He just... Sure, he's creepy, scary, but not super creepy, like, I'm gonna destroy all the Autobots. No, he's like he's a $110. He looks like he's a $110 compared to Primal, and Primal can kick his ass. Anyway, that's just me. That's just me nitpicking. Don't let that deter you from actually ordering and getting this figure. Now, he does come with another weapon. He is, I guess this is a scythe or blade. Now, instructions say this is the default position. I personally would like to do it this way. This is how it is this is the position in truck mode, but I think it's better this way. And having said that, I kind of wish there was another way that they could have added hinges and all that just to hide this blade even further. Just flip it up, hide it better, because as it is just sticking out like a blade, and you can use it to slice and dice like this, but this is how the instructions say you plug that in and you can grip it, and then he has a double-edged sword. He kind of even looks goofy holding it. I don't know. I'm sorry. It just... I'm sure it's not going to be like this in the movie. I'm sure he's going to be more menacing, but he just kind of feels goofy. I'm going to go ahead and fold that, okay? Articulation of the figure, we've already seen the neck articulation. So waist as a waist swivel. Shoulders are on several joints right here. You go in and out, forward and backward. There's another hinge joint here. There's a hinge joint at the elbow. There's a bicep swivel. The tentacles have the first digit articulated. Finger right here, fingers. These 4 fingers actually can grip, as I've shown earlier. He's got a not ball joint, but universal hinge right here, a swivel hinge to allow you to do the splits, another swivel hinge right here for forward and backward kicks. He's got a thigh swivel, hinge knees that kind of ratchet, yep, and then the ankles make the feet up and down and have the rocker tilt. So all in all, see, here's the other problem I have. It's the shoulders. There's really no clear-cut way to position them. The instructions say the artwork says they're like this. The instructions say they're like this. So I think the shoulders are too low. It just looks a little goofy to me. I don't know. Maybe they could have done a better job with that. Who knows? But this is pretty good. It's a pretty decent effort. Okay, I guess we should transform him into his rig truck mode. Okay. To do so, I'm going to go ahead and close the fingers first. You don't have to close them too much, just get them out of the way. Okay, untab this backpack right here. Go ahead and fold out these pieces. Unfurl everything. Go ahead and fold out these pieces right here. Go ahead, at this point, you want to go ahead and just fold out all the hinges. It's just going to be much easier. And then let's go with the feet. What you want to do is rotate thighs like this. There's some pegs right here, kind of hinder articulation. Just get them there settled in, tab them there. They're gonna untab as you transform, but that's okay. What you want to do is you want to fold out this peg right here. Go ahead and lock in those the feet. Fold the toes forward like this. Go ahead and lock them in place on the ankles. And they're just going to stay right there. Make sure it's all ratcheted properly. Okay, the arms, they're going to fold up like this. And like I said, just move these out of the way. And then they're going to swivel right here, all the way. And then this whole sword assembly is going to pop out. And then you're going to just lay everything like this. And then the sword is going to tab onto one of the wheels or inside of the wheels. And it's just going to stay right there, okay? At this point, I think we can tab the feet together, yeah. Because the fingers are just going to stay right here, okay? So speaking of the fingers and the other arm, you want to go ahead and just fold it up like this. Same thing with the other, same thing what we did with the other arm. And this is going to be the, you can already see the truck shaping up. That's the front part of the truck, top part of the truck, the engine cover. Okay, and then this one, a little tricky, but here's what you do. You fold these out, unpeg the abdomen, go ahead and unfurl that entire chest assembly right here. And then this whole wheel right here, the wheel sections are gonna move out like this. Rotate, swivel, move out, and tab onto the first engine block or the shoulders to form the front part of the engine. Okay, that. Okay, the other wheel is going to do the same thing. Go ahead and fold that out, tab him like that. And at this point, you can already see where this top part of the truck is going to go. You're going to go ahead and compress those hinges, squeeze in that midsection right there. And then what you want to do is you want to start with these pegs, tab them in, and then tab these outer pegs, okay? And that'll form the front part of the cab. And then the grill just tabs in like that, okay? Now all that's left are really the doors and windows. You're gonna go ahead and fold the smokestacks. Fold it down like this. Okay, let's fold out the smokestacks. Fold it down like this. And essentially, that is the base truck mode. I still haven't put this one. This one covers up some bits, right? Because there's a huge gap right there that's going to be covered up by this weapon. But let me just talk about the other gaps in this truck mode. You can clearly see, just like a lot of the Studio Series Optimus Prime figures, there's always a gap right here. Just beneath the driver's seats or both seats, there's always going to be a gap there. And I guess that has to do with engineering. This one, I don't know if it's intentional. I don't know if it really does look like that in the movie, but there's a huge gap. Is that movie accurate? I don't know. It could be. I mean, who knows? It does look cool, though. It could have blasters coming out here, but I think that's an engineering mistake. There's probably going to be there should have been a flap there, but they got rid of it because of budget constraints. I think that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So let me just go ahead and complete the transformation with this. You split the gun like this. This is actually pretty cool. Go ahead and line them up together like this. And for a while, I thought you do this. Actually, which I thought would look much cooler had they placed it like this. It just covers everything up. But no, they decided to go to this. You see those slots where you peg the weapon on the back? Huh. Oh, okay. My bad. Should have been transformed this way. Okay, and then peg it right here. Sorry, I don't know how I missed that. Okay, apparently there's just one way to transform this piece right here. So again, like I mentioned, that's how it fits. It covers up the gap, but it looks weird and unfinished. I don't know if that's intentional. I mean, if that's how Scourge looks like in the film. I guess this is what, for Freezer? That's where Freezer interlocks with him. Again, I mean, they could have made that Freezer interlock with him even if they flipped this over. They could found a way to do so, because without Freezer, it's going to look incomplete. Is that a way one way of Hasbro trying to make you buy Freezer. I don't know, but the truck mode is okay. I'm getting a lot of Dark of the Moon Megatron vibes, but it feels like it's missing a lot of panels, a lot of bits and pieces here and there. That's just me. It looks menacing. It looks Mad Max, Fury Road, Beyond Thunderdome, whatever. It's a cool, mean-looking truck, but it just feels incomplete. So, I don't know, man. For comparisons in vehicle mode, here is Scourge with Battle Trap once again, and Nightbird. So he's in perfect scale, definitely. I have to give it to the design team of Studio Series when they said everything's in scale. They really meant it. It's in great scale with these two other vehicles. I mean, despite this one not being a Studio Series figure, I mean, it works. It really does work. Some final thoughts on this Studio Series Rise of the Beasts Scourge. It's a very good figure. I'm not going to take that away from the designers and the design team of this figure. It's a great effort to really bring that really complicated design from the movieverse down to an action figure format. It's a very, very good attempt, and it is commendable. However, as a figure, as a Transformer itself, there's just some things lacking with this figure to make it a perfect figure. It's not as imposing. I thought they could have put a little bit more mass on the sculpt. The truck mode just has a lot of pieces, a lot of panels missing, I think. The transformation is a little tricky, but okay, good enough. It's enjoyable to a certain extent. The robot mode just doesn't seem as intimidating as I wanted it to be. It feels a little gangly, kind of goofy looking, giraffe-like Transformer. But nevertheless, the figure has tremendous amount of detail. Fantastic sculpting on this figure. I love the colors. So it's not going to get a perfect score because for me, I think the Fallen is still the gold standard for villains in the Studio Series line. This guy is going to get a solid... I wanted initially to give it an 8.5 out of 10, but I'm feeling very generous, so we'll give it a 9 out of 10. So not sure I'm going to keep this in the collection, but I thought it's a decent effort, really great representation of the villain in Rise of the Beasts. Let me know what you guys think of this Transformers Studio Series from the movie Rise of the Beasts Leader Class Scourge. Hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.